So good morning everyone, my name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Drishti IAS. In today's episode, we will be discussing the Indian Express newspaper. We'll go through the front page first and then we will go through these 3-4 articles. One is taken from your explain section. Second, there is this report by UNCTAD. So we'll be talking about that particular report with respect to the global trade. Okay. In this particular report, it is said that India and China are doing good on the export front right now. Okay. Other than that, UK and USA has increased their exports. So we will be discussing that as well. Now we'll be starting with the Hathras stampede, which has happened recently. So that we will talk about. And before that, we will be discussing the practice question which was given to you in the previous lecture. Okay. Now here is the front page. Here that is the at least 116 killed in the stampede at Hathras. Religious gathering was there and most victims were women. Okay. So we'll talk about that, but mostly we will be discussing that in news program. Okay. Now moving further, when we are talking about the Parliament has concluded on you can say 18th session. When we are talking about the Parliament's first session, that has been concluded yesterday, so that is there. So we'll be talking about that as well as the motion of thanks, etc., which has been going on in the last session. Okay. Now coming to the question which was given to you, that is Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary is located in which state? Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra. Okay. So basically when we are talking about this Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary, we have seen that this is the second home for the cheetahs. Okay. Cheetahs has been relocated from Africa to Kuno, and then certain cheetahs in, or you can say the number of cheetahs in Kuno right now has increased to 26, but the capacity of Kuno is for 21. So we will be translocating these you can say excess cheetahs to Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary. And second thing is that there are certain other cheetahs which we will be importing from the you can say Africa. Okay. So that is there. So when we are talking about the location of this particular wildlife sanctuary, that is in Madhya Pradesh. Even Kuno is also in Madhya Pradesh. Okay. So that is there. Now coming here you can see this is basically a Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary, and this is the area of Madhya Pradesh. Okay. Again someone has replied Gujarat, so no, it is not Gujarat, it is Madhya Pradesh. Okay. So second thing is Kuno is there. So you can say that on the northern part of MP we have Kuno, and then on the you can say northeast part of your Madhya Pradesh we have this Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary. Okay. Other than that, we have discussed yesterday that Kana is important for you, Satpura is important for you. Other than that, this Durgavati Wildlife Sanctuary, the status has been changed, so that is also important. Panna Tiger Reserve is important because of the Cane Betwa. Okay. Pench Tiger Reserve is important because it is having shared by 2 states. Okay. That is Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. Okay. I hope that is clear. Now we can move to the next part, that is the first article of the day. Here you can say initial report suggests people stumbled while gathering soil pressure walked on CM orders probe. Okay. So basically there was this stampede, or you can say the rush over there, the crowd over there. Actually they were trying to touch the soil on which that the person has been, or the you can say this preacher walked on. So in that kind of rush there was this stampede which has happened, and nearly 116 people has been killed. Most of them were women, because at that point of time there were many women which were present over there, and few kids, and there were some men, they were also you can say killed and injured. So that is there. Now the thing is, satsang by local preacher had the SDM's permission, but the crowd gathered was larger than the expected. Okay. A satsang by local preacher Uttar Pradesh, Hathras, turned into a site of tragedy as 116 people, almost all of women, were killed in stampede on Tuesday. Okay. The name of the person was Narayan Sakar Vishwa Hari, aka Bhole Baba. Okay. Now the thing is, there will be a you can say investigation with respect to that. Other than that, if we talk about the disaster related aspect to it, when we are talking about the natural disaster, these are there. Okay. Such incidents can be artificial or man-made disasters. Okay. But the thing is, the intent was not to go for it you can say intentionally, but the thing is it has happened. Now there should be certain protocol in place. Okay. So if we are talking about your disaster management related section in the geography, so in the governance also, if we see, so this particular thing become important. So we'll be discussing that in news program today. So in that we'll try to cover various aspects of it. Okay. So that is about it. And now moving further to the next article, which is from the opposition disrupts PM's speech, House responds with a resolution. Okay. So basically there was this discussion which was going on, that is motion of thanks. Okay. you know that president gives this address to the joint session of the parliament, okay, and then after that there will be discussion on that motion, or you can say that presidential address, and after that there will be this motion of thanks which will be placed in the parliament, and this motion of thanks has to be, you can say, passed in the parliament, otherwise it will give an intention that the government over there has lost the confidence, okay. So now that is why it is important to pass this particular motion in the parliament. Second thing is, whenever such motions are placed, there will be a discussion, okay. So opposition will ask their question, and afterwards the government has to give answers. In that particular thing, there was this you can say particular comment which has been made by Mr. Rahul Gandhi. Afterwards the Prime Minister has given you can say his remarks and his answer, okay. So that was there in the, you can say, news. And other thing was that while Prime Minister was talking, there was this you can say disruption which has been made by the opposition, and that is why there was another motion which has been passed, that is there was this resolution which has been passed by the you can say defense minister over there. So here you will see the way the opposition tore into the shreds the dignity of parliament while PM was speaking during the debate on the motion of thanks to the president's address. I propose that the house condemn this act. Now condemning this act, they have come up with a resolution, and that has been forwarded by the defense minister, that is Rajnath Singh, okay. Seated next to him, Shah stood up a few minutes later and requested the speaker to put the motion before the house for passage. The resolution was passed by vote, okay. So that is there. Then as Modi was beginning his speech, the opposition demanded that the speaker allow 2 Congress MPs from Manipur to speak in the presence of PM, okay. The speaker has allowed them, and there was some kind of slogans which were there in the parliament with respect to Manipur, okay. After Prime Minister's speech, after Prime Minister's you can say answer, there was this particular demand was that now you should speak something about Manipur. So that are certain things when we are talking about the recent NEET examination, okay, and then this Manipur issue, and all these things has been talked about in the you can say parliament. Now the thing is, when we are talking about having an opposition, okay, a strong opposition, that means that there will be more debate and discussions. But when you have asked something and then someone is answering that and creating that kind of chaos or the disruption, that won't yield anything important, okay. So in that regard, speaker has actually put the motion for the voting, and that motion was passed. Speaker Om Birla reprimanded the protesting opposition MPs multiple times, reminding them that the disrupting the motion of thanks was unbecoming of responsible members and against the convention of the house. He also told that the opposition that he had already allowed a Manipur MP to speak, and now only the PM would speak, okay. So basically that is about the, you can say, incident which has happened in the parliament. Now we will talk about what is this motion of thanks, okay. That we will be talking about, because for our discussion that will be important, okay. Now coming over here and see, when we are talking about the motion of thanks, Article 87 of the Constitution, President of India specifically addressed both House of the Parliament together at the beginning of the first session of each year, okay. So that is one thing. Here important thing is that will be a joint session, because they are saying that will be addressed by the president together, joint together, okay. So there will be a joint session, first session after each general elections, when the reconstitution of Lok Sabha meets for the first time, okay. Now reconstituted Lok Sabha, that means the new elected Lok Sabha. So there are first session of each year, okay. Second thing is first session of every newly formed Lok Sabha. So in 2 cases there will be a joint sitting and president will give a address, okay. The president's speech essentially highlights the government's policy priorities and plans for upcoming year, okay. So when we are talking about the recent session and the recent address by the president, they have talked about various things, okay. They have talked about importance of EVM, they have talked about the you can say the NTA, NEET, etc., and their integrity has been compromised. So basically they have said that there should be certain reforms which has to be taken, okay. Other than that, they have talked about the development, etc. So that was there in the presidential address. The discussion on the address takes place for a few days and initiated by a motion of thanks moved by a member and seconded by another member. Members who have to move and second the motion are from the ruling party. Now once this speech was over, okay, then there will be a debate on that particular motion of thanks, or you can say that particular address which has been actually given by the president, and that will be done as a motion of thanks. Okay, so the address of the president will be discussed in the parliament. Okay, and then there will be voting on the motion of thanks. While motion of thanks is put forward, okay, so there will be one member from the ruling party, they will put forward the motion, and there will be one member who will be seconding the motion. Okay, so that is there, and both the member who is actually putting forward the motion and seconding it, both of them are from the ruling party. Now the notice of such motion is received through the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. The chairman allotted time for the discussion of the address under Article 87 clause 2 in consultation with the leader of the house. Okay, then coming to the next part, although Article 86 clause 1 does not contain any provision for allotment of the time for the discussion of the matter referred to therein, nonetheless a rule has been made enabling the chairman to allot time for discussion and the address. Okay, now the thing is, here they are saying that in 87 clause 2 they have actually said that the chairman will allot the time for the discussion. Okay, that is there. Then when we are talking about the article in the constitution, they have not talked about a particular time. Okay, but there are rules of the house, and as per the rules of the house, the chair or the speaker will allot the time. Okay, now last part over here is that notices of amendment to the motion of thanks can be given only by the president after the president has delivered the address. Okay, so these amendments or the changes will only be, opportunity will be given afterwards the, you can say, presidential address has been given. Okay, so that is about your presidential address. As I told you, this motion of thanks is having a very important you can say object which is attached to it. Second thing is, when we are talking about this motion of thanks, if it is not being passed in the parliament, that means that government has lost the majority. Okay, so either they have to go for the confidence vote again, otherwise the government will fall. Okay, so that is about your motion of thanks. Now we can move to the next part. Sorry, yeah, northwest of MP. When we are talking about that Gandhi Sagar, I'll show you. This is northwest of the MP or Madhya Pradesh. So thank you for that. Yeah, Sonu Singh, thank you for that. Now coming to the, okay, so we have discussed all these things. Now we can move further to the next article. Abhaya mudra, Buddhist and Hindu culture symbol conveying freedom from fear. Now when we are talking about this Abhaya mudra, okay, there are various mudras which has been actually propagated by Buddhism. Okay, earlier you know that there was no personification of Lord Buddha initially, and after nearly 500 years of his demise, there was this various mudras which has been you can say made popular by the different sects of Buddhism like Vajrayana, Mahayana, etc. So these sorry sorry. Okay, so various mudras has been popularized by the different sects of Buddhism, that is your Vajrayana, Mahayana, etc. So these mudras had something, you can say, some kind of special significance attached to it. Every mudra has a different meaning attached to it. Okay, so we will be talking about that. And right now we are talking about Abhaya mudra because recently there was a reference given by leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi in the parliament, in the Lok Sabha specifically. Okay, so in that particular discussion he has talked about that the current government regime is kind of a regime of fear. Okay, and this Abhaya mudra is basically you can say mudra which is indicating fearlessness, or you can say becoming free from the, you can say, fear. Okay, so let's talk about it. In his first speech as leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi on Monday invoked Abhaya mudra, the gesture of raised open palm that is commonly understood as conveying reassurance and the freedom from fear. Okay, so when we talk about this particular mudra, it is something like this. Here you can see this hand is pointing towards the sky. That means that all the, you can say, your right hands, basically all the fingers will be pointing to the sky. That is there. Second thing is, in some cases this mudra can be changed. Okay, so mudra has different, you can say, ways you can portray this mudra. So first is like this, second is like this, third and fourth. Any finger like index finger, middle finger, or this third finger, if these three fingers, one of them can be touching the thumb, okay, other fingers will be pointing to the sky. Okay, so that is basically is the Abhaya mudra. Now coming to the next part, he portrays the government as a regime based on fear, and stressed that the culture of fear is alien to the Hindu religion and the Indian civilization. Okay, so even our Gita says that Abhyam Sattva Sansuddhi, that means that you should be free from the fear. Okay, so even in Hindu you can say culture, or when we are talking about the Buddhist culture, these things are there. So he has said that it is not part of our Hindu religion and the Indian civilization. Okay, the first idea is in this image is that we defend is the idea of confronting our fear and never being scared. Okay, so that is Abhaya means free of fear. Bhaya means fear itself, and Abhaya means you are free from fear. Okay, now moving further, here you will see the Abhaya Mudra, he said, was common thread in the depiction of the Lord Shiva, Guru Nanak, Jesus Christ, also figured in Islam, Buddhism and Jainism. Okay, so basically he is saying that this is kind of, when we are talking about India, India is, you know, that it is a melting pot of various civilizations and the various phenomena. So basically he is saying that here in Hinduism, Lord Shiva, Lord Ganesha, and when we talk about you know, Sikhism, Guru Nanak, Jesus Christ, and here Buddhism, Jainism, all these are depicting these mudras in one way or other. Okay, mudras in Buddhism, if we talk about, in Sanskrit, mudra means that there can be a seal, a kind of mark or currency. These things are basically you can say meaning of mudra: seal, mark, sign or currency. But when we are talking about in the Buddhist context, okay, it refers to hand and arm gesture made during the course of ritual practices and depicted in the images of Buddha, Bodhisattva, tantric deities and other Buddhist images. Okay, so basically what they are saying, that there is a combination of hand and arm movement when you are performing certain kind of you can say ritual. Okay, so that is basically is your mudra. Okay, here they have said that these mudras are depicted in the images of Buddha, Bodhisattva, tantric deity and the Buddhist images. Okay, earlier, as I told you, when we are talking about the Buddhism, in start of the Buddhism, at the time of Buddha, there was no images, etc. Okay, there was no personification of Buddha. Okay, after nearly, you know, 400 to 500 years, they have actually gone for the personification. Okay, as the you know, Gandhar style came to India, etc., then they have gone for the making sculptures. In these sculptures, they have actually shown various mudras. Okay, and these mudras are basically your, you can say in Buddhism they are called the mudras. One of them is Abhay Mudra. Then we have Bhumi Sparsh Mudra, Dharma Chakra Mudra, Dhyan Mudra. All these things we have in Buddhism. Okay, in Buddhism there are, you know, more than 4. There are various mudras, but these are very you know, important which are there. When we are talking about Buddhism, there will be hundreds of mudras. Okay, because as the different sects came, like when we are talking about Vajrayana, Mahayana. Okay, other than that also the Buddhism has different sects. So at that point of time, the, you can say, number of mudras kept increasing. Okay, that is one thing. Other than that, that this bodhisattvas, jatak stories. Okay, bodhisattvas are basically nothing but, you can say, kind of you know, different incarnations of Buddha. Okay, there are jatak stories. There are these jatak stories means that there are, you know, certain legend which has been attached with the, you can say, Lord Buddha. So basically that is jatak stories. Other than that, when we are talking about here, you can say Buddhist images or the sculptures which has started after the, you know, influence of the, you can say, Gandhar style, and other when the Kushanas came to India. After that, there was this development in the art and architecture. Okay, now most commonly associated with visual depiction of the Buddha or Buddha Rupa. Okay, these depiction of Buddha, different depiction of Buddha, these are called as Buddha Rupa. Okay, different gestures conveying different moods and meanings, signifying this subtle manifestation of the Buddha's state of realization. Okay, state of realization, otherwise you can say that the enlightenment, how he got it. After that, there are various stories which has been depicted through these Buddha Rupa and, you can say, these symbols. Okay, for about 500 years after the Buddha, who lived in the 5th and 6th century BC, the person of the great teacher was not depicted in the form of an image or sculptures. As I told you, 500 years after the, you can say, you know, Buddha you know, was present, at that point of time there was no sculptures or the images. At Sanchi, for instance, the Buddha is symbolized by a vacant throne or a you can say footprint. Okay, so that was not image, or there is no sculpture which is there in the Sanchi stupa. There is a vacant throne. Okay, that is there. The earliest depiction of the Buddhist physical Buddha in physical form date to roughly around the turn of the 1st millennium, or you can say that 1st BCE. Okay, so that is the time when you have actually started seeing the various, you can say, personification or various forms of Buddha in the sculptures and the images. Okay, now that is on the, you can say that Gandhara art, they have the influence of the Gandhara art and northwestern edge of the Indian subcontinent. Now they have drew Hellenistic influences, as I told you, from the you can say Greece, etc. There were these various traveler and various, when we talk about the various incidents, there was this Alexander's entry in the vicinity of this you can say continent, and afterwards there was this Hellenistic influence in the art over here. Okay, then this has actually spread from the northwest to the Gangetic plains, etc. Now, earliest depiction of Buddha Rupa or the 4 mudras can be found here. Abhay mudra, which we have already discussed, that is gesture of fearlessness. Bhumi Sparsh mudra, that is earth touching gesture. Then Dharma Chakra mudra, that is gesture of the wheel of dharma. And then Dhyan mudra, that is gesture of meditation. Okay, so basically these are the 4 gestures which has been mentioned over here. So please go through them. That is important for you. Second thing, you should remember that what is the meaning of these mudras. So that is there. Now, gesture of fearlessness, we have talked about is that the palm will be raised, right hand's palm will be raised towards the sky, and there are different mudras which I have told you, that first finger, second finger and third finger, that will be you can say touched by the thumb, and other fingers will be pointing to the you can say sky. Okay, so that is basically your mudra which has been given over here. Okay, I have told you about the meaning of this Abhay mudra. According to Buddhist legend, Devdutt, a cousin and a disciple of Buddha, upon not being granted a special status. So there was this Devdutt. Okay, he was basically a cousin, or you can say he was cousin, and then he was with Buddha, but though he was a disciple, but the thing is he has some kind of, you can say, insecurity that he was not given a special status in the Sangha. So basically what he had decided, he conspired to kill Buddha. So he has actually intoxicated an elephant and then put that particular elephant in the path of Buddha. And because of the intoxication, that elephant got mad, and he was approaching the Sangh, or you can say the group of people which were there with Buddha. So most of them actually left that particular spot, but Buddha stayed there, and then he has gone for the Abhay mudra. And what was witnessed over there, that the legend story says that that elephant became calm and he was on his knees. Okay, so basically this mudra is basically depiction of fearlessness, and also it is also you can say that becoming a Sharanarthi, or you can say coming to the protection of Buddha. Okay, so that was there is this term Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, that is also somehow related to this you can say idea of fearlessness, and you can say getting protection under the Lord Buddha. Okay, now in Hindu religion, if we talk about, so there are Abhay mudras when we are talking about the, you can say cultures being mixed. Okay, so after Buddha there are various, you can say incidents where it was said that Buddha is the part of the Hindu religion itself. Buddha has this you can say that that is considered to be the 9th incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Okay, so basically with that this particular Abhay mudra has actually gone into the Hinduism as well. So you will see Lord Shiv, Ganesh, these are the prominent deities which are having this Abhay mudra. Okay, most of the time we have seen this particular gesture, that is basically your Abhay mudra. Okay, so that is there. Then if we talk about this, Hindu came to be regarded as the Buddha as the avatar of Vishnu in around 450 AD and 6th century. Okay, as multiple tradition practices and the cultural influences mingled in the great melting pot of Hindu religion, manifestation were seen in the art and visual depictions of the god. Okay, that is obviously personification of god has also started late when we are talking about Hinduism, because you know that when we are talking about the Indus Valley civilization, we did not have, earlier they used to go for the, you can say worship of nature. Okay, after that we have gone for the Pashupati, and then the mother goddess was there. Okay, all these things were basically somehow depiction of the, you can say, nature in some way. Okay, then when we are talking about the Vedic period, etc., so earlier these you can say they were worshipping the natural entities, and then they have gone for the Indra, Varun, etc., etc. Then comes the, you can say further in the history you have this Bhagavad as a religion, and wherein they have gone for the depiction of Vishnu, etc. Okay, so this is how there was various things which has happened throughout the history. Okay, so this you can say a confluence of the culture which has happened in India, that is why we are saying it as the melting point of the Hindu religion. Okay, otherwise also if we see India is the melting point of various religions, various sections, various cultures. Okay, so that is there. This particular you can say lines can be very important, or you can say you can write them in the art and cultures conclusions. Okay, so that is there. Now moving further to the next article. Union budget is likely to be presented on July 24th. The full budget for 2024-25 may be presented on July 24 in the monsoon session of the Parliament, while the economic survey will be tabled on July 23rd. Now, when we are talking about the interim budget, you know that in February we have gone for the interim budget, and the full-fledged budget was to be passed after the new government was elected. So obviously new government has been elected, and the first session of the Lok Sabha has been concluded yesterday on Tuesday basically. So you can say that now the next session will be happening, and in that next session we will be going for the, you can say, budget. Now the thing is, when we are talking about the session of Lok Sabha, there will be minimum gap of 15 days. Okay, so considering all these dates, so we have arrived at a conclusion that we will be going for the next session from July 22nd, and then on 23rd we will be going for the economic survey, and 24th we will be going for the budget. These are speculations. The final dates will be announced later. Okay, the normal practice is that two sessions of the Parliament have a gap of at least 15 days between them. So please remember this particular fact, that is important. An inaugural session of the 18th Lok Sabha concluded on Tuesday, while the next session could begin on July 18, going by the 15 days norms. Okay, but sources have said that it will likely to begin on July 22nd. Okay, so though the date, if we consider 15 days gap, they can start it from the 18th July, but the thing is, sources are saying that they will be starting from the July 22nd. Okay, now president in the president's address, there were certain things which has been talked about. Okay, so she has talked about the budget. The first budget of the Narendra Modi 3.0 government will unveil far-reaching economic and the social reforms for the rapid development. So that is something which we can expect. Second thing is poor, youth, women and farmers. Okay, so these are the four castes which has been said by the Prime Minister, that I only believe in four castes, that is poor, youth, women and farmer, and so that is why they are saying that that will be the core of the policy making when we are talking about the next budget. In the next budget, they will be also talking about the key ratios, like when we are talking about the fiscal deficit, all these data. Okay, so there are certain data which are given. We will not be going into that because we will be waiting for the budget data, and then we will conclude that. So that we will be discussing whenever there is a budget. Okay, now besides some new incentives, the government will also tweak ongoing schemes, add more beneficiaries or increase the benefit for a certain classes of people. Okay, so that is about your you can say small article which was there on the economy page. Now moving further to the next, which is related to UNCTAD report. That is a report which is related to your global trade. Okay, moderating inflation, aiding goods trade recovery in India and China. Okay, so basically they are saying that the moderating inflation is helping to, you can say, grow, or you can say when we are talking about the global trade, there is a recovery in India and China. Otherwise also, when we are talking about different countries, we'll be talking about that as well. Like we'll talk about USA, we'll talk about Russia. Okay, we will talk about Japan, South Africa. So when we are talking about the US and Russia, so we are saying that basically there is an increase in the trade over here. Okay, other than that, when we talk about India and China, India and China is doing really well when we are talking about the global trade. When we talk about Japan and Africa, they are actually not performing that well. There was a decline. Japan and South Africa, there was a decline. Okay, other than that, if we are talking about the imports, the Brazil, Russia, USA, the imports has increased. Okay, so these are certain, you can say, trends which has been there which has been given in this particular report. So let's talk about this. India and China exhibited a very strong quarter over quarter export performances, as the decline in the good trade among the major economies reversed during the first quarter of 2024. Okay, so when we are talking about the 2023, there was a decline in the global trade. Okay, but in the recently, or you can say the first quarter of 2024, we have witnessed that there is an increase in the trade globally, and because of which India and China are doing very good. You can say they are performing very good on the export fronts. Okay, in the first quarter of 2024, the global trade continues its modest and the gradual increase that began in the second half of 2023. So in the first half of the 2023, we can say that there was a decline in the global trade, and then from the second half there was a little bit or moderate increase was there, and recently we have seen that the same you can say increase or the gradual increase which we has been seen in the first quarter of 2024. Okay. Now moving further, that is fueled by the positive trade dynamics in USA. As I told you earlier, we are having these concerns with respect to inflation in USA. Okay, so now because of that there was certain changes which has happened in USA, and USA is doing has increased the global trade on their part. So basically because of which that positive trends has been seen over here. Now moderating inflation and the improving economic growth forecast. Okay, so basically these are the reasons. As I told you, the moderation has there has been a moderation in the inflation trends, and then improving economic growth forecast. Now overall, moderating global inflation and the improving economic growth forecast suggests that a reversal of the downward microeconomic trends. Okay, so these trends were there in 2023. Now there is a reversal in that particular trend, but still there are certain concerns with respect to this. We are skeptical that there might be again a downside. That is because of the, you can say, rise in the, when we are talking about the geopolitical crises which are going on. Other than that, there are issues in Russia and Ukraine. Middle East is also facing certain kind of issues. So that is why we are saying that there can be a downside risk, okay, because of the geopolitical tensions, rising shipping cost and emerging industrial policies. When we are talking about the rising shipping cost, you know that in the Red Sea there was this particular issues by the Houthi rebels, and that is why the shipping cost has increased, because the various shipment has to go through different routes. Okay, so that is there. Other than that, when we are talking about these emerging industrial policies, so when we are talking about any kind of industrial policy which has been made by the domestic government and for the betterment of the domestic you can say industry, but the thing is sometimes that can go backfire, because if one country is going for such policies, there are chances that the second one will also reiterate, you can say reciprocate in same way. So basically it will actually increase the protectionism, or you can say there will be trade distorting practices which will increase. Okay, so that is why we are still of, you can say, thinking that there might be a downside in the future. Okay, even as the global supply is becoming increasingly concentrated in the hands of the major few exporters on the back of the heavy subsidy which has been hurting the global trade. Okay, so basically they are saying that here, when we are talking about the supply, global supply, there are certain countries which are having a major chunk. Okay, and when these particular countries are going for the heavy subsidies, so basically they are actually distorting the world trade all over. Okay, so that is there. In what could fuel inflation further? Price of trade goods, you can say in the quarter first. Okay, now the thing is, in what could fuel inflation? The report said that the prices of the traded goods have maintained constant in quarter 1 2024, but are expected to increase in quarter 2 of 2024. So basically if price is increasing, that means that the, you can say, trade in the number of in the you can say data, if we see on the terms of value, so you will see that if the price is increasing of these goods, that means that ultimately you will find that the number of value of the global trade will increase. Okay, and that is because of the, you can say, this particular price of the goods. Now how it will happen, let's see. Let's say earlier there was a particular article which is costing you $100, okay, and then you have actually sold nearly 10 pieces of that. So basically there are you have done a trade of $1,000. Okay, but the thing is, now that unit is same, you have in the next quarter you are selling 10 units only, but because of the price which has been increased, okay, $150, then there will be a $1,500 trade which you are doing. Now this is trade not is increasing in the terms of, you can say, quantity, but it is increasing in the terms of value. That is basically you can say price is increasing, that is why. So that is there. And when we are talking about these subsidies, we have seen that it will be detrimental if you are if a particular country is providing just to be in the, you can say, just to have the monopoly in the global chain. So that will be distorting for the other countries, and ultimately there will be a negative kind of competition which will start. Okay, now other than that, we have discussed that there was this import which has increased in Brazil, Russian Federation and the United States. On the export side, China and India are doing good. Okay, and the export has also grown for the USA and Russia, and trade continues to be declining for the Japan and South Africa. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Now most of the data you don't have to remember, just know that what kind of trends are there. Okay, so that is about it. Now moving further, there was this midnight drama at Kathmandu. So recently there was this attempt to actually ask for the resign from the current prime minister over there, okay, that is Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachand, okay. Now the other you can say parties which were supporting the coalition government, they have said that he should resign, and he has said that he will not resign, he will go for the vote of confidence, okay. So that has been happening over here. When we are talking about the Communist Party of Nepal, Maoist Center, there was 32 seats. With that 32 seats, they have formed a coalition government, okay. Now the thing is, the other you can say the parties, they are basically asking him to resign, okay. You don't have to worry about the domestic politics over here. If you have interest, you can go through this particular thing, because there are various number of seats, etc. they have talked about, okay. These are the name of various leaders, that is KP Sharma Oli and Sher Bahadur Devba. These are the three parties which have actually gone for the coalition. Now what is important for us, that using this particular news, we will be trying to understand certain map based issues, okay. So let's see over here. When you talk about this particular area, this is your Nepal, okay, and you know that upper side there is China. And when we are talking about the states which are having boundaries with Nepal, so here you can say Uttarakhand, then we have Uttar Pradesh, then we have Bihar, we have Sikkim, we have West Bengal, okay. So these are the, you can say, states of India, or you can say Indian states which are having a boundary with Nepal, okay. First is Uttarakhand, second is Uttar Pradesh, third is Bihar, fourth is Sikkim, and fifth is West Bengal, okay. So remember that there are 5 states which are making a boundary with Nepal. Now the thing is, that is there. Other than that, there are certain boundary issues. When we are talking about the Nepal and India, there was this boundary which has been drawn with the Treaty of Sagoli, and at that point of time there was this river, that is Kali river, that was considered as the boundary between the Nepal and India. But recently there was a shift in the river course of that particular river, that is river Kali, and in you can say Nepal it is called as river Sharda, okay. So basically river Kali, and in Nepal it is called as Sharda. So that was there, and because of the shift in the, you can say, river water or river course over there, so Nepal has claimed certain territory. They have said that this territory belongs to them, okay. But that is not true, because obviously river has changed the course, not the land, okay. So basically that is why these 3 areas like Limpiadhura over here, this Kalapani and Lipu Lake, so this particular area, that has basically been shown by the Nepal as their area when they have released the new maps, okay. Recently they have released a new currency note of rupees 100. So basically on that particular note also they have shown this as part of their map, okay. So that is concerning for India as well, okay. India has said that these are totally abrupt kind of you can say claims, okay. These particular areas belongs to India. Now Kalapani, Lipu Lake and Limpiadhura, this is Kalapani, this is Limpiadhura, and this is Lipu Lake. Now this is, when we are talking about this particular area over here, so you know that this is Uttarakhand, and there is this boundary between Uttarakhand and Nepal which has been created by this particular river, that is Kali river, okay. So please remember that the point of contention is because of the change in the course of Kali river in the site site of your Uttarakhand and the Nepal border, okay. So this is the you can say disputed area. Other than that also there is also a, you can say, old issue, legacy issue, that is basically over here, that is in, when we are talking about the Bihar and you can say Nepal's border, we have Susta, okay. Susta is also a river, and because of the change in the river course somewhere Susta and its tributaries, so basically this area is also contested between Nepal and Bihar. Obviously this area is in Bihar, so it is contested between India and Nepal, okay. So that is also, you can say, another area of contention between India and Nepal, okay. I hope that is clear. Now moving further to the, you can say, last part, that is for your own read, there is this article, who was Abdul Hamid, hero of Asal Uttar battle, okay. So you can go through this particular article. There was certain books which has been released by the RSS Supremo, that is Mohan Bhagwat, okay. There was, the book name is Mere Papa Paramveer, and there was another book over here which has been, I guess, mentioned or not, I don't know. So you can go through this particular article, okay, and that was certain battle which has happened during the time of you can say somewhere around 1965 or something. So you can go through this particular article. Now moving further, your last part, that is practice question for you. So here, which river is at the center of dispute over the Kalapani area? Ganga, Brahmaputra, Kali or Susta, okay. So you can attempt this question and answer in the comment box, okay. So Okay, so there is this zoom. They have asked for a, zooming the picture. The thing is, in this particular panel, we cannot be zooming the picture, but we are providing the you can say PDF, a PDF of this particular session in our Telegram channel. The link is given in the, you can say, description. So you can download this particular PDF from there, and you can use it accordingly. Okay, so I hope that is clear. So with that, I would like to take your leave. If you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe it. Have a nice day. Thank you.